Wait. Okay. Okay. Got that now. Should be good. Sean, get on there and see if I can my audio. Sean's gonna see if my audio's working. I'm gonna turn the I got the sound way down on this one. Alright everybody, welcome. So we should be good now. I got my sound what? Oh yeah. Okay. Alright everyone, welcome. Oh, one more thing to do, sorry. I just gotta go here. Okay. Okay, now we're good to go. Should be good. Hopefully. Let me make sure let's see. Yeah, I should be good. Hello everyone. Hopefully you guys are having a good day today. Hopefully everything's going well for you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about some stuff today. And it should be good. So I've got my guy here. That's actually going to be fun. So there's we've been working on getting our new update out. And it's been taking us a little longer than we wanted to, but it's going to be good once it comes out, so no worries there. We're working on the tree boss, and we're going to get you all these iCore changes as well. So that is what we've been working on. Oops.
I can hear you, Brian, but you're a little quiet.
Okay, he said I was a little quiet. I think I bumped my mic up. So hopefully my sound is good. Okay. Okay. Oh, hello. Hello. How are you guys? Oh, actually, this is going to be funny. I should have got the old map, Sean, because these people can't move. That's all right. We're going to talk about some other stuff anyway. The guy that I use is super strong, so it doesn't matter. So I went through some changes that you guys can expect. I went through and I modified a lot of the values for like the new the clothing that you wear, and I was been working on balancing all the different, like how much the weapons affect your iCore dispersion rate, or I mean how much the armor affects your iCore dispersion rate, and how much the weapons affect your weapon attunement modifier. So should be balanced for the next patch, but you know how these things go. Just because it's balanced now, it might not actually be balanced when it gets out there or when we make other changes. So yeah. Another thing that we're going to start, but like I said, the big thing that we're going to be working on is the tree boss. So these guys actually aren't even going to attack me because we are not building that thing. So that's actually kind of boring, but that's all right. It is going to be a short stream because, like I said, we don't have the tree boss in yet. I wanted to fight him. So maybe what's going to happen is, since this one's going to be pretty short, what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about just a few things, and then next week, when we release the tree boss, I'll do a stream of me taking the tree boss on. Maybe during the week. I won't wait all the way till next Saturday so that you guys can get a little bit of taste of it. I'm going to give you guys a very little taste of something that you guys aren't going to I don't know. You'll be able to think of it like you'll see it, but anyway. So the tree boss, what I'm going to talk about today is bosses and the tree boss and what the tree boss is, and what our philosophy on bosses is, because bosses are a huge part of games like this, and it's super important to have a good system for bosses. So that's what I want to talk about today. So if you guys have any questions about bosses and you are with us on the live stream, I know there's at least one person here, but if you're with us on the live stream, ask any questions you have about bosses, talk about bosses. It's going to be fun, and I'm going to talk about them. But you could also ask us on our forums at any time, which you can get to through our website, liminalgames.com, or you can ask us on the YouTube video if that's where you're watching it. Yeah, last week we talked a lot about iCore and Magic, so if you have questions about that, you can watch that video. So let's talk about bosses. So bosses are a super important part of games like ours for a lot of reasons. If you guys have been paying attention to the game, or if you've played it before, you already notice several map changes have already been evident, including a really huge map change that you're seeing right now. But bosses are important because well, they're important because they're sort of like what you work up to, right? They always give you the best loot. They always give you the best, they always give you the best, I don't know, they're always fun. They're always unique. At least we think they should be fun and unique. And so here's our philosophy on bosses. Basically, bosses should be big checkpoints in your mission to you know, as you're progressing through things. They should be a big part of like what you're working up to get the kill for. And then when you get the kill, when you do kill the bosses, they should be rewarded pretty heavily for accomplishing it. And bosses should not be pushovers. They should be a challenge for you. If you've played other games, a lot of times games, it's almost impossible to beat the boss the first time, right? It's something that oftentimes you have to learn how to like work up to, and you have to learn how to beat him. And we want to go with that too. So here's how it's going to work. There are going to be basically at least 2 types of bosses, probably more. One's associated with the main storyline, pretty much required bosses that you have to kill in order to progress. And then there's going to be some that are not required to kill, completely optional. And they are either going to be bosses that are there only for loot, like, you know, just to kill because it's fun to kill them, or they give you something really good. There's going to be optional bosses that are associated with side quests, like doing a full quest line, you know, maybe like we've talked about the bandit quest line that's going to be started on this island pretty soon. And there will be a boss at the end of that. There might be bosses associated with just areas that aren't tied to quests at all. Side bosses that, you know, there's an area that you want to access or something like that, and you need to defeat the boss in order to get past it. But the question has arisen on, like, what about beating the bosses, or bosses after you've beaten one of them? Like, will you be able to, like, fight them again? And so that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about, is, like, we have an idea that was actually inspired from other games that we played, and one of the things that I wanted to do, and I think it would be a good idea, you can let me know what you guys think, but after you beat a boss, I think it should not respawn by default. So, like, if you beat the boss here, he probably won't come back by default, but you would be able to bring him back via crafting something, so that you could fight him multiple times if you wanted to, and for whatever your purposes were in doing that, whether he had equipment that you wanted to get, whether he had, you know, it was just fun to fight and you want to do it again, whatever. So, like in this case, probably this boss fight is going to be changed. He's really boring right now. Like, he has some, well, he can't even move right now because we haven't generated the nav mesh for this particular one, but this guy he's pretty boring because he's really aggressive. And he has one, you know, unique attack, which is good, but he's also, like, he doesn't really do much different, other than he just has a lot of hit points and he's really hard. So this is kind of what we were thinking, is there will be a mission associated with storming this campsite from over in the Vilands. The Vilands will also be taken over by the Velaran as well. But, so you'll have a mission to come over from the Vilands to this area to sort of, like, take it back, the food supply, right? And this is where the Velaran landed and sort of set up camp. And you're trying to drive them back off the island. And this guy is like their local leader, right? He was the one who was leading the campaign against the Eldari here. And exactly why they are here and what they're trying to accomplish, that's all going to be part of the storyline that's going to be told to you through the characters and everything like that. But suffice it to say, they're here and they're disturbing. Their purpose is to disturb and otherwise negatively impact the Eldari who are living here. And so the storyline will eventually bring you to this camp where you will be with other Eldari people, and you'll be trying to take the camp back. And you will enter in, probably will have you enter in this main area where I am now. And the Valaran captain, we're going to probably redesign the way this looks so that what I'm explaining will be a little easier. But basically, it'll be easier to understand when the area looks a little better. But pretty much what will happen is you'll come in here, and the Valaran captain will probably jump down, and they'll trap you down here or whatever, and it'll be a boss arena. Like, it'll be a boss fight. And you'll have to fight the Valaran sergeant, and we'll probably put these towers with archers on them, and you'll have to sort of, they'll be trying to kill you or whatever, and it'll kind of be this pretty cool one-on-one duel, but it's not fair because the archers kind of going on, things like that. And after you beat the Valaran soldier, you'll have made, or the Valaran sergeant, you'll have made sort of permanent progress in the map, right? You'll have like permanently influenced you'll change the map, you'll change the outlook of the people. They'll be so glad that you helped them get rid of the Valaran sergeant, and he'll never be there again unless you summon him. So in this case, we might have like a fire pit or something right here, some sort of container where if you craft a sergeant banner out of different things that you got around the island, then you could place that there, and then it would re-trigger the fight. So even though it might not make sense as far as like lore, you would still be able to fight this boss again. At least that's our current thinking. It may be that storyline-centric bosses are just gone forever, and you can only resummon side bosses or optional bosses, but we might also make it so you can also summon storyline bosses as well. That's still something we're thinking about, but hopefully that clears up how boss fights will go as far as like how we manage them and everything. Someone says that they just bait the sergeant over to the campsite, roll up the rocks, and shoot him with spells. Yeah, so that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. Is we have to make people cheaping out the bosses, because he's pretty cheesable right now. But to be honest, like he's almost too hard to beat. Just man mode him. There's a guide on our website on how to do it, on blocking him and parry, kind of dancing with him a little bit. We don't have parrying in yet, but that would probably work as well. Kind of dancing with him a little bit, and then taking him down the real way. But we're going to make boss arenas, so boss fights will be a little more structured. They won't be as quite a free form as just you're floating out here and whatever. We're going to make actual good boss fights. So maybe you could capture their soul in a shard, which you break to summon them again. Yeah, something like that may be possible. If we wanted to make it more lore friendly, we would probably start looking down roads like that on why they would come back, and summoning them to fight them again or whatever. So anyway, I'm going to stare at the ground right here because I'm just going to give you guys a quick taste of something. If you were paying attention earlier in this video, and if you're on YouTube, you could actually have looked at the sky and the skyline and seen something, but we're just gonna stare at the ground here for just a second because I want to just run through this place. I'm not going to show you guys hardly anything. You're going to be so mad at me. Let's see, where am I? But it's going to be a surprise. You'll get a small glimpse of it. I'm going to try to be pretty good about it. Maybe just a couple of frames if I just go like that. Oh, maybe you saw something there. But anyway, this is actually where the new area that we've been working on, our artist specifically has been diligently working on this area, and he's made a lot of progress. So if you know where I am because you played the game, then you know that the ground at least looks different, right? What's the skirt of that building? Oh, I'm teasing you guys pretty bad if I just do that. I just get a quick glimpse up there. People on YouTube are going to be like pausing it real bad and checking it out. Stairs. Stairs are always good. They're interesting. Let's walk through this mysterious area here. Let's walk over here. Snap my camera up a little bit. Okay. We're through it. But I'll just tell you something that we're through it now. Okay. Maybe you could see something over there. But anyway, you guys are going to like it when you see it. It's going to be good. Hopefully you like it anyway. I think you will. So I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm going to kind of show you guys, talk a little bit about what I mean as far as boss arenas go, because the tree boss, he's going to be in soon, and I'm hoping in the next little while, as soon as we can get him in. We're going to work on getting him in. But yeah, if I just go like that. Anyway, hopefully we'll get him in soon, and you guys will like the fight, I think. What? Okay. So, sorry, it's kind of dark. It's dark on this side of the island. It almost needs to be like later on in the day. What does it look like at 15? It doesn't look that good. It looks okay. It's going to get really dark, actually, when we go inside this cavern to talk about the tree boss area. I am going to show you some of the rework that was done on the tree boss area, though, because I think it'll be good to explain what I'm talking about. Let's see here. I think I have the reworked area. Okay. Whoops. R_post. Process effect. Do I have brightness on here? No. Params. How do I... Sean, could you look up on how I change the brightness so I can make it brighter inside this cave? No, the update's not out yet. Yeah, E time of day. I wanted to make it especially bright though, because it's already pretty dark, but then over the stream it gets even darker, so people have a hard time seeing it. There's one like called post effect, or it's like post effect.
I'm not having too much trouble seeing it over here.
Okay, maybe it's okay. I mean, this part's the brightest part, so let's see how it looks.
I mean, the tree boss is in there. He's just a static mesh. Right?
He's not in here right now. So we're going to this is the reworked area. So as you guys used to know, there was like a ramp leading up there and all this sort of thing, but this area is reworked, and the tree boss is going to be in this area, and he has a completely new move set, and he has a completely new method of fighting him. And so I'm not spoiling anything because he's still going to be difficult to fight, and you guys knew he was going to be here anyway. But why this is better, I think, is because so this door, and we need to do this with the Deathblood as well, but like the doors will close you in, and you remember how the Deathblood you have to like drop in, right? So when you drop in, a door will close, or the door that's already in there that a lot of people are using to cheese the Deathblood is just open, but it should close, like this one will close. And then you'll notice that there's no way to get out of this arena portion of it. Like you can't, there's no ramps, there's no nothing. It's just sort of, you're just locked in here. And it's probably going to remain that way. Well, it definitely will remain the way that you're locked into fighting the boss in this arena until you beat him. And then the way to go will be clear. Whether or not we make it so that there's like a ramp back behind him. Sorry again if you can't see it very well. Maybe there will be a ramp back behind him that, you know, he's blocking until you destroy him, and when he like dies, the way opens up. Or maybe when he dies in such a way that you can climb on his body and get up to the ramps above. There's a couple of things that we've been thinking about on how to get him in there. Actually, I think I could make it a little better or a little worse if I use my glow spell here. Yeah, I guess it's not really. You can see the immediate ground a lot better. We took all the enemies out of here, so that's how boss fights. I'm just kind of using this to describe. That's how boss fights work. They work because they work in the sense that you're going to have to fight them like in their arena, and this is better because a lot of times it allows us to make bosses that are really unique, like. You know, I'm careful not to pick on games or criticize them because I love a lot of games, but and I love Skyrim, but I'm going to comment on it right now. And I love that game, and I really like it. But the dragon fights were like the boss fights, right? There wasn't a lot. There was like the dragon priest, but mainly it was like fighting dragons. And the boss fights on those were pretty much the same. You fought dozens of dragons throughout your time there, and it was fun, but it kind of got repetitive because the dragons weren't very different from, well, they weren't different at all from one another. What the heck? Let's I just, that was crazy. E time of day, not our time of day. Yeah, that was weird. Did you guys see it like turn pitch black? Anyway, so I'm talking about dragons. And it was kind of like, oh, they weren't very different from one another. Whereas a game like Dark Souls, for people who have played that, those boss fights could be dramatically different from one another. Some of them were similar in the way that you fought them, but many of them were vastly different. And it made, you had to learn the boss. You had to learn his area. You had to learn his moves. And it made it really interesting. And that's kind of what we want to go to. And we have some ways to make our boss fights interesting as well and things we can do. So making a boss fight, I think bosses are really important to make your game super fun. They give you a sense of accomplishment when you beat them. They give you gear, a boost, and they push the storyline along. They're really fun and they're really great. And I think they're an important part. And we wanted to make ours really a good, fun part of our game because I think they're important and we all do. So we're working on some of those. And after the tree boss is in, we'll have definitely the Deathblood. He's pretty good right now. Him and the skeleton are pretty fun. Again, when we get new weapons in and rescale damage and everything, we'll probably change like the life that they have. We might add more moves to him eventually. But even now, it's a pretty good fight. The tree boss, we're working on getting a couple more moves that he can do so he doesn't just chuck rocks at you constantly, even though that was pretty funny. Yeah, there's a comment. It says Dark Souls boss fights were good. Darksiders were way too annoying. And I think that like the Valaran Sergeant in our game is just annoying. Like I don't think he's a good fight right now. And he's tough, but he's like too tough. And he's too like he just charges you and never stops hitting you. And it could be good if it were slightly different or if there were more to it, I think. But I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean as far as like there's definitely a balance between making it difficult but creative and like a boss fight that's fulfilling and a boss fight that's just annoying. Like there are bosses that after you beat them, you're just like, that wasn't fun. Like nobody had fun during that, and it's over now, and I'm glad because I hated it. And we want to stay away from that and be more in that time of like, wow, this boss is hard, and he might have killed me a couple times, but I know I can beat him. I'm getting a little better at him every time, and he's, I'm learning kind of what he's doing, and I can beat him. And then after, however many times it takes you, you take him down, and you're going to feel really good about that. And that's our goal. So I think we can achieve it as well. So we shall see. But so we're working on that boss fight. And after him, the next boss is going to be the Valaran Sergeant. We're going to make him a lot better, and we're going to pull the storyline up to meet both the Valaran Sergeant and the tree eventually. But we're going to get the tree boss in soon. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that. I think it'll be fun. He'll be a lot better, but he'll also be familiar, like you guys who have fought him before will recognize how to fight him, and he'll just be more interesting and hopefully a better fight all around. And then once we have 3 solid bosses in and the storyline to go up to him, we actually also have our 4th boss already planned, and we have a lot of his behavior already planned on how we want to make him really fun and interesting. And we'll get him in there as well in not too much longer. Our goal with him, when's our goal with that, Sean? I don't know. It's hard to say. Month or 2 months. 2 months. Our goal's like 2 months to get him in there. There's some variables in there that could extend that time though, so don't hold us to that one. But that's our goal. Did you fix the crashing at that house? I think yeah, we have it fixed, but it's not pushed out. The update is not pushed out yet, but we did fix it. So still when the update comes out, it'll be fixed. Another comment, Darksiders boss fights weren't really fights. they were like, oh, so I have to push this button and get a bomb to knock a train to hit him 50 times. Yeah. Yeah, see those gimmicky fights. Like there are fights that are even within Dark Souls that are just gimmicky. Like the Bed of Chaos in Dark Souls 1, it was just a gimmick. Like it wasn't even a fight. Whereas like the Pursuer in Dark Souls 1 or Dark Souls 2. So a good example of like a good fight is the first time you fight the Pursuer in Dark Souls 2, before you fight him in his main boss arena, you can have the chance to fight him right by the shortcut. People who play Dark Souls 2 know what I'm talking about. But you climb up there, and it's just like you versus him in this open arena, and it's really fun and really awesome. It's just a good, solid boss fight. There's no gimmicks. It's just your skill versus his skill. He's, you know, he times his attacks. He's aggressive, but his attacks are timed in such a way that you can like figure him out. But even if you figured him out, you could still make mistakes. It was just a good, sweet boss fight, if that makes sense. At least as far as like a nice melee combat challenge, or, you know, you can fight him in various ways, but I fought him just like sword and shield, and he had a sword and shield. It was just like felt really good. So we want to make each boss fight feel good like that, and have a variety of them. Some that are melee, some that are ranged, some that are casters, some that have lots of minions. Kind of hit the board, you know, with what everything can do. So another thing that we need to do in order to expand the quest, and I think I might have mentioned this, we need to sort of expand the town right here. So we're probably going to add in some more, kind of going off the same idea as was done here with the lodge. We're probably going to expand the town out a little more because there's some storyline associated with why the town needs to be a little bigger. So that's something on our radar. Our artist has been really dedicated and focused on getting that area done. And so all other sort of changes have been put on hold for really good reason. And we really look forward to having this new area, but the new area that he's working on. So that is our priority right now, and we think it'll be worth the time. In fact, we know it will because it's looking really awesome. The small glimpses of it that you've seen. Okay, so that's a little bit about what we have planned. Let's see, I was talking about the town, and there was something else that I wanted to tell you guys. I can't remember what it was. It'll probably come to me, though. Man, I wish I could remember what it was because it was something good to say. Oh, I know what it was. For all of those who have computers that aren't just complete beasts of machines, you'll probably notice that on my computer right now, this thing is running way better as I'm streaming. I'm getting... Oh, that's not an accurate frame count. I'd have to have fraps up. This thing's always really low. But while I'm streaming, I usually tank down into like the 20 frames, and this thing's already showing me well above 30 frames. But we have optimization out. How much would you guess, Sean, the optimization's bought the average Joe?
Average 15 to 20 frames.
Yeah, you can expect frame increases of maybe up to 15 frames for some of you. It's a really big increase. Our artist did take a small break on working on the new area and gave us some frame optimizations. So if you guys have a computer that isn't running it at the highest, or if your frames aren't quite where you want them to be, you should get a lot more frames now. And don't worry, when we push the update out, all the people will have their nav mesh in, and they'll be able to walk and fight you. So anyway, like I said, it was a shorter stream this week. Really focusing on wanting to get that update out. So we are going to do that, and if we get that out at a time that makes some good sense, and it makes good sense, then I want to think about streaming this week and show you guys the boss fight, take him on. Could be good. Could be a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the update when it comes out. Sorry it wasn't out earlier. We've just been focusing, we've been kind of spread a little thin on what we wanted to get out, and a couple of unforeseen things came up, and that's just how it goes. So not too worried about it, but yeah, we're going to get the update out soon, and it'll be a really fun one. It'll have a lot of good changes to iCore, and it will have a lot of good changes to the map as well. So if you heard that ding, that was my computer telling me I have some updates ready. Just seeing if my iCore changes are still in. I think they're still in. I've been using it so much that I'm like so powerful. Look at that. It's getting bad. It's really bad now. Okay. Still works. You guys are going to have this soon. All right. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for me. So I'll stick around and keep the chat open for a while, as I always do. But I really do appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys joining us this week. Sorry it was a shorter stream, but it still should have some good information there. And for people who care, there's a lot of stuff to look at. So that's kind of what we wanted to do, and hope you guys truly enjoy it. And we will see you this week, and we will have an update ready for you guys hopefully very soon. So thank you very much, and we will talk to you guys later.